trying to solve for. When dry.
Alright guys, we are going to finish up this lesson today, and then tomorrow you have a chapter 8 practice test. Monday, no school. Tuesday, practice test again, so a second one, and then next Wednesday is your test for chapter 8. So it'll have on there like Pythagorean theorem, and then it'll have how we solved right triangles when we did sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. It'll have a couple of those word problems with angle of elevation, angle of depression, and then it'll have what we've learned since when we've been dealing with triangles without right angles. Okay? So today we are on this page right here. Okay? And first of all, this just kind of talks through some different things. So first of all, in this chapter, we did the Pythagorean theorem, and that works only on right triangles, okay? Then we did 30, 60, 90 triangles, if you remember those, and those had the specific rules, and 45, 45, 90 that had the specific rules. I don't believe I put that on the test though, okay? And the reason for that is you can do these using sine, cosine, and tangent too, so I think I left that off the test. So then you can use those sine, cosine, or tangent ratios, but again, this is only for right triangles. Just like Pythagorean theorem is only for right triangles, okay? And then we solved, we started to solve triangles. They're called oblique, that are not right triangles. And for those, we're going to use law of sine and law of cosines. Okay. Now, when we do these, we have a chart right here. And today what's going to happen is they're going to give you an oblique triangle, and you're not going to know at first whether you have to start it with law of sines or law of cosines. So what you have to look at is what they gave you. So in this one, notice they gave you two angles in a row and then a side. So that's angle, angle, side. If they do that, you have to start with law of sines. Then for the second way you'd use law of sines is if they gave you angle, side, angle, where the side is in between the two angles. There also you're doing law of sines. For law of cosines, it's side, angle, side, or side, side, side. So here's the deal. If you're ever given two angles, you're going to do law of sines. If you're ever given two sides or three sides, then you're doing law of cosines. So that's how I would look at it. Two angles is law of sines. Two sides or three sides is law of cosines. Okay?
Copy those little kind of drawing you have there to my cheat sheet.
For sure. All right, so here's what your questions are going to look like today. It first says, determine whether you're going to do law of sines or law of cosines to solve it, and then we have to solve it, okay? So how these are going to look on the test is it's first going to ask you to write what law you used first, okay? So that's just your first step. Which one did you use? And then it's going to ask us what we're missing and what we have to find. So in this one, if this is A, B, C, they're telling us that angle A is 82, angle B is 44, and little b, which is right here, is 11. And then remember, this is little a, this is little c, okay? Do you see how this one has two angles? When something has two angles, do you remember what we use? Sines. So we're gonna do law of sines, okay? And then it's gonna ask us on the test, like, what is little a? what is little c, and what is the measure of angle C. So on the test, these problems would be worth 8 points, okay? Now, when we go to do this, if you have 2 angles, is it really easy to find the third angle? Yeah. Don't you add those 2 together and subtract from 180? So if you added 82 plus 44, that's 126. And then if you subtracted that from 180, you would get 54. And that goes right here, okay? And then if you want to, you can add it onto your diagram also, okay? But what I'm gonna do in this one is just leave it how we have it, and I know that I have to start out with law of sines. With law of sines, I have to know an angle and its opposite side, okay? And I do that because I know B and little b, all right? And then in this one, where I would start is finding angle A, or finding little a is the way that I would do this one. And with law of sines, there is no order in what you have to find first. Law of cosines there is, law of sines there is not. You can find anything in whatever order you want to here. So, actually angle A here, I should have an angle there. So this would be 82, okay? Now I'm gonna do cross products. Oh, and then I did something else wrong. That, I see what I was gonna do here. I was going to just write the formula and then substitute in. Okay, so sine of B is sine of 44. Little b is 11. Sine of A is sine of 82. And then we're looking for little a, okay? If you remember law of cosines, we do cross products. So I have sine 44 times A equals 11 times sine of 82. Now, I'm solving for little a, so I would divide by sine of 44. And when you type this into your calculator, what do you have to be careful of? Or hit enter here, okay? One of those 2 things. So, what I'm gonna type in here is 11 sine 82 enter divided by sine 44. Did you guys get 194.64? Or do I have it in the wrong mode again? I do. So mine opens up, and if I just restarted, it's not in that mode. So let's try this again. 11 sine 82 enter divided by sine 44, and that is 15.68.
Yeah.
And hopefully, like with that, if you do that and you got that big number, you would look at the side you're given, and if this is 11, you shouldn't get an answer for a side that's over 100. So that would give you a clue that something's not correct. So this was 15.68 as well as this. Now, when you get to that last step where you have to find C, you have a choice as to whether you want to do law of cosines, which when you're looking for that side, you'd go back here and it would be this formula right here, or you can do law of sines again. So let's, do you guys have a preference which one we do for this second? No? Anyone? Alright, let's do law of sines again. So I'm looking for angle C, and I know sine of B over little b, and I'm looking for C, so that's sine of C over little c. So now sine of B is gonna be sine 44. Little b is 11. Sine of C, and then it's over little c, which, oh, so I know this angle is what I know. I know that this is 54. I found that right away, so I really should have written that in there. And then here I can make this 54. And then little c is what I'm actually looking for here. So then I do cross products. So here if I multiply this, I have sine 44c equals 11 sine 54. And then I'm solving for c, so I divide by sine 44. And when I do that, I would get 11 sine 54, enter, divided by sine 44. And that's 12.81. Okay, that's little c is 12.81. So these would be your answers then for that. Okay. Now we have one more to do. And again, when we do this, what I first look at is what is it that I need to find. So if I draw this out and say this is A, B, C, across from angle A is little a, across from angle B is little b, across from angle C is little c. Okay? Now, angle A is 78.3, little b is 7, little c is 11, and so when I go to figure this out, I need to find little a. Oh, I have to say what law too. So I need to say what law we're using. I need to say what little a is, what the measure of angle B is, and what the measure of angle C is. Okay? Now, do you guys all agree that this is side, angle, side? It has two sides. That is going to be which law? Sines is only when you have two angles. And we don't have two angles here, so this is cosine. Okay? Now, back in our notes, as well as on your cheat sheet, you have the steps to solve something in law of cosines with side angles, side triangles. And what it tells you is to first use the law of cosines to find the third side. Okay? So if I go back here and I'm going to find the law of cosines, okay, what I have to do is find the third side, which is little a. So if I go back to that first page to see what that formula is, you guys have this on your cheat sheet. Little a is this formula right here. Okay, so that is what we're gonna use. So it is a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine of a. Do you guys want to check to make sure that's correct?
It is.
It is? Okay. Now I'm going to substitute in what I know. I'm looking for little a. little b is 7 squared, little c is 11 squared, minus 2 times b is 7, c is 11, and then it's cosine of 78.3. Okay? Now, if you guys remember how to do this, we type this into our calculator, but remember that is our side squared. So once we do that, then what we have to do is take the square root. So if I try to type this in, I'd go 7 squared plus 11 squared minus 2 times 7 times 11 cosine of 78.3. Now that again is my square of that side, so I have to take the square root of that. So I'm gonna go second x squared, second answer. And did you guys get 11.78? So little a is 11.78. And then we can go up here and put that here. All right, and we can put it here. Now, we have to find one of the angles. And this is where you have to remember, if you're doing cosines, you have to follow the steps for it. We're finding the last 2 angles. Which one do I have to find first? B, because it is smaller. So B is across from 7, C is across from 11. We have to find B, okay? So my formula then would be sine of B over little b equals, and in law of sines, I have to use an angle and its opposite side. So that would be sine of A over little a. And then do you guys realize too, in this step, we could have found it using law of cosines. So we could have to found B, went into that formulas and gone to the second column and found the formula for angle B. So sine of B is what we're looking for here. Little b is 7. Sine of A is sine of 78.3. And little a is 11.78. Okay? And then you're going to do cross products. So we're going to multiply this, and I get 11.78 sine of B equals 7 times sine of 78.3. Okay? Now to solve this, I have to divide by 11.78. And you have to realize when you punch this in that that is sine of B that you're going to get. So then you have one more step where you go second sine, second answer. So if we go 7 sine 78.3 enter divided by 11.78, you're gonna get a decimal less than 1. And then we're looking for sine, so you're gonna go second sine, second answer, and it's 35.58. Okay, is that what you guys got?
Yes.
Okay, 35.58, and I'm gonna just change this because I didn't write down the sign. So this is actually the measure of angle B. And then if I know angle B, is it easy to find angle C? Right? You would just add together 78.3 plus 35.58, which is, I believe, 113.88. And then if you subtract that from 180, did you guys get 66.12?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's just adding that extra step where you have to, say what law. And then also on that worksheet, you guys, I assigned one of the problems twice, and obviously you only have to do it once. So let's go to today. I believe it's on the back side. Do you see how 8 you did yesterday?
Yeah.
So you don't have to do 8 today. Okay? Make sense? Alrighty.